Hey everyone, welcome back to a video previewing the RSL season coming up for 2025. I'm really excited about it. We're also going to be looking back at the off season and some of the deals that have been made there, and I'll give some of my thoughts about it. I'd love to hear some of yours if you want to get into the comments section. Yeah, let me know. It's definitely not the off season we all expected. Much busier. I was expecting, oh yeah, maybe we'll bring in a few depth pieces, like a center back would be nice, potentially starting goalkeeper. But besides that, should be a pretty quiet off season. But no, RSL front office decided to surprise us this year, and Chicho out, Julio out, Crooks out, Beavers out, some big outgoings, and some under the radar could be big incomings too. So I think it was it's mostly over by now. I know the window's still open and there's still a chance that we bring in players. My hunch is that we don't bring in anyone else until the summer. I know a lot of people are hopeful for a starting striker, and I'm pretty confident in saying that the front office is pushing really, really hard to find one before the season starts because, of course, we want them for the first half of the season and we want them to get integrated. But what they want even more is to get that signing right. So I think that's probably going to wait until summer. Don't be absolutely shocked if it happens sometime, but they're definitely not going to be available and ready by the time we play our first game, which is in less than a week at the time of recording. So, yeah, it's a lot to be excited for. We have a game coming up. The off season is over so quickly, but I mean, probably this striker is going to be coming in the summer. So I would expect that if you listen to Soccer Wise, first of all, it's a great podcast for just MLS in general. But on there, Tom Bogert said, we're probably looking for a intra-league signing, which is interesting. I mean, it's probably going to be a DP. I think that's what we all expect and what we all hope. And intra-league would be nice because you don't have to go through the visa process, and we won't have to wait a full year or 6 months or however long it takes for them to integrate, for them to be good and adjust to the league. So, I mean, we saw that with Andres Gomez. It took a full season for him to be adjusted, and Gonçalves last season, I'm hoping he's adjusted by now, but yeah, he clearly wasn't up to speed with the league yet. So I'm hoping we can get someone who will adjust quickly and will be high quality. I was thinking there were 3 strikers that moved intra-league this season that caught my eye that I feel like, why didn't we just go out for them if we knew Chicho would be leaving? Leonardo Campana obviously went to New England Revolution. I think he would have been a great player. DP. Joveljic went to Sporting Kansas City. We could have gone for him. And Jeremy Abobasi went to LAFC, who I don't even think he'll be starting because they've got Giroud. So I feel like there could have been a case made for him to come to RSL. But alas, those players have gone to other teams, and we're just going to have to live with that. So maybe some missed opportunities there, but I mean, it depends. It all depends on who comes in the summer or this window. So whoever we get as our new starting striker, I'm very confident in saying that none of the guys currently on the roster are going to be that, but probably for the first half of the season, one of them will. So let's actually take a look at the strikers we have. So we've got Elias Manuel, who we got from the New York Red Bulls, but his situation is a bit interesting. He's not at preseason currently. There have been lots of rumors about him, and that he may not be committed to the project. So we'll see what his future is for RSL. But there's a chance that he's not going to be ever playing for us, which is really disappointing because we paid pretty good money for him. So yeah, hopefully he shows up. But yeah, we've got Elias Manuel and then Forster Iago, who we drafted from Nashville in the re-entry draft. And he's the one who's been starting in preseason, so I'd expect him to start the opening game. He scored a couple of nice goals. He's looked pretty good. So we've gotten him for a really low amount of money for what he could be, hopefully. So I'm really actually quite excited about him. Ari Piol, who we got from the Australian League, the A-League. Very young player. We got him for, I mean, he could turn into a bargain. I wouldn't expect him to immediately hit because he's coming from outside the league and he's very young. So I'm hoping he can grow into a really incredible player for us, and maybe we could sell him on for a lot of money. But for now, I'm not sure he's quite ready. Could be a Monarchs player, could just get a few minutes here and there. But yeah, I'm hoping he does really well for us. We've got Jesus Barea, who we drafted from the Super Draft. He's had a few minutes in preseason, looked pretty good. So he actually hasn't signed a first team contract officially. So I'm hoping we can get that sorted out pretty soon, hopefully. Yeah, he's looked all right. And then Xavier Gozo, I know lots of people are excited about him. U.S. Youth National Team player. I'm personally very excited about Gozo. I'm hoping he can get a lot more minutes this year with the starting striker position pretty wide open. But there are a lot of names in there, so we'll see where his future lies. He also may not be a striker. He could be out on the wing. He could be at the 10, so flexible with him, but yeah. And then besides that, we got Owen Anderson, Axel Kai, and Aiden Hezerkani. These guys are probably going to be Monarchs players this year, but I mean, as much as we can see from them. And also, the Monarchs are playing in the Open Cup, so maybe some of these players are sent down to the Monarchs for the Open Cup games. That would be great to see them on that stage. So, yeah, that's where the striker position is at right now, which is a very hot topic amongst RSL fans. I know I recorded an off-season update and uploaded it about like 2 days before Chicho got traded, which was really horrible timing. But Chicho's gone, Julio's gone, and it's a real shakeup. I'm disappointed in the way things ended up with Chicho because the highs were so high and the lows were so low. But I think overall, I mean, my initial reaction was like, what are we doing? But it sounds like he's the one who requested the trade. There's not much we really could have done about it. And I'm hoping this is overall a good thing, changes the vibe of the locker room. We'll have a totally new leadership team, totally new captain. And I'm hoping the vibes are just better this season than they were with Chicho. Now, I'm not going to go through our whole lineup position by position. I'm probably just going to pick a few spots that are interesting. So I'm going to go to goalkeeper next. We brought in Rafael Cabral from Brazil, and he's a very accomplished goalkeeper, played for numerous Champions League European teams, Napoli, I think maybe a few English teams as well. So very experienced. I think he's at 34 years old, and I'm just hoping for him to be league average. Like that's just, if he's league average or better, then I'll be happy with that signing. He's not going to be a long-term guy, obviously. He's 34 years old, which for a goalkeeper, it's not crazy old, but he's not going to be around for 10 years is what I'm saying. So, yeah, we've got Cabral, and I'm very confident in saying that he will be the starter this year, especially with Zach McMath injured for the first 3 or 4 months of the season. Could be longer than that. I'm not really sure, but yes, Zach McMath, he's still on the team, but he's going to be injured for a while. And then we brought in Mason Stuyduhar from Orlando. He's been their backup for a long time now. So I'm just hoping from him just to be a reliable backup. As long as he's that's really all we need from him. We drafted a few guys as well. If they can turn into something, that would be great. But we also sold Gavin Beavers to Denmark for, I'm not sure the fee ever actually got reported on that one, but I'm assuming it's in the $1 to $2 million range. So yes, I think Gavin is the one who really pushed for this move. He's a young player who wanted to go out to Europe, and I mean, we're just doing right by the player here and selling him. I have no issues with that sale, and I'm wishing Gavin all the best. I'm hoping he does really well. So good luck to Gavin, and yeah, it was fun having him, but I'm glad that we have more of a steady goalkeeping situation. Now, there's just one more player on here that has come into the team that I would like to highlight. It's Kobe Henry. He's a center back who's come in on loan from, I believe the way you pronounce it is Rem. I'm not exactly sure on that. I do not speak French, but they're from the French division, and he's coming on loan for 1 year. So I'm actually pretty excited about this one. I'm not sure if there's a purchase option involved or if he's just going to be here for a year and go back. But I think he'll actually really push for minutes this year. And I just like having depth pieces that are able to push our starters. I feel like that was something we were missing from our backline last year. He can hopefully fill in at right back, which is sort of a right center back when we're in possession. Or he could push Glad or Vera for their spots. I know we've also got Junkwa, who should be a left center back option. So maybe Kobe Henry will be a right center back option. Anyways, I'm pretty excited about this. It seems like a low risk, could be high reward signing. So I'm excited about Kobe Henry, and we'll see what he does and how he performs for us this year. So just taking a look at the lineup overall this year, I'll put a graphic up right now with my personal depth chart. So this is the lineup that I've got going into the season. I've got Cabral, Cutronis, Vera, Glad, Hidalgo, Ojeda, and Anelli in the D-mid spots. Luna on the left, but really more like a left 10. Gonçalves as the right 10. Mark Juk on the right wing. And then probably Forster Iago for opening day. If Manuel gets here, I'd expect him to be the starter, but we'll see what happens with that situation. I really don't know much besides he's not currently with the team. So this is what I've got right now. The right back spot is interesting because there are no players that are absolute, like, this guy's going to be the starter. He's proven starter quality. I feel super confident with him, but there's a lot of guys that are like, oh, well, maybe he could work out. So currently I've got Hidalgo there. I think people have kind of forgotten the trajectory that Hidalgo was on before his injury late last season, and I'd expect him to come back in and be the starter, especially looking at preseason. He started our final preseason game, and that seems to probably be the team that's going to start our first game of the season. So I have Hidalgo there. Quinton, I really liked there last season, though. I'd love to see him do well. Also, Brown performed well in the playoffs. We've seen Caliscan there a little bit in preseason, which I think is interesting. And I like Caliscan as a player, but I really don't see a spot for him in the midfield with Ojeda, Anelli, Palacio, Ruiz. So Caliscan's an option. And then we also got Andrew Brody. I'm not seeing a lot of minutes for him this year, but he's going to be pretty low on the depth chart for us this year. So, yeah, that's what I've got for right back. I'd expect Hidalgo for now, but I'm just really hoping someone can take that spot and make it their own because I don't really want a revolving door at any of our positions this season. I'd love to have just like a set starting lineup, but I'd love the rotational players to be pushing our guys for starting minutes. But I would love to just have a defined starter there at right back. Now, another thing that we're going to have to decide before our season starts is we're going to have a new captain. Obviously, Chicho left. He was our old captain. So Pablo did say in an interview with ESPN it's going to be one of these three, Justin Glad, Emeka Anelli, or Rafael Cabral. Me personally, I don't think Cabral makes very much sense. He's like coming in brand new to the team. And however great he is, like, he could be the most incredible leader ever. I just don't understand why we need someone coming into the team for his very first season to be the captain if we haven't really met him yet. Like, he's never played an actual game for us. So, yeah, that one doesn't make a ton of sense for me. Glad and Anelli, I'd love to see either of them as the captain. I think they'd both be great options. Probably I'd go with Glad because he's been with the team for, I think, over 10 years at this point, which is a really long time. And I think he's the thing about him, he's the longest tenured player. So he's been there for the entire time that any of these other players have been there. And he's been through basically everything with this club in the last 10 years. And he was our vice captain last season. So there's a little bit of carryover from last season, which it's always nice to keep continuity. But Anelli would also be a great option. I can definitely see that working out well. Yeah, I love Anelli. He's a great player. I don't know. He's a little inexperienced, I would say. But, I mean, if he was captain, I wouldn't really have any issues with that. So for me personally, I would say Glad or Anelli. It's looking like Anelli's probably the most likely. He's been getting it a bit more than Glad in preseason, so we'll see what happens, but I'd expect that announcement to come out anytime now. Maybe it's already out by the time this video's up. But yeah, Glad or Anelli is who I'm guessing it will be. I think the player that's going to really define this season for RSL is probably going to be Diogo Gonçalves. Now, he's brought in last summer as a DP summer signing, never really fully meshed with the team, which makes sense. I'm willing to give him a pass on that one because he's coming from a different league into a brand new team, brand new surroundings, and he's not speaking his native language. Like, there's so much new that's going on. It's hard to adjust quickly to that. And we've seen this exact same thing with Andres Gomez and many other players around the league and around RSL. It just takes a while to adjust to MLS. And I'm hoping by now he's there. He's looked good in preseason. He's looked very good. So I think if he's great, then we'll be great. If he's not great, then we probably won't be great. I think he's kind of what this revolves around, especially being our only DP on the team right now. It's really, like, a lot of people are saying this is Diego Luna's team. I think everything rides on Diogo Gonçalves for this season. So I'm hoping for a great season from him. And yeah, I know a lot of people were frustrated with him last season, but this is something that I think fans, RSL fans, MLS fans, soccer fans just need to learn. It takes a while to adjust, and you just have to be patient. I mean, we saw this with Gomez. He had one absolutely horrendous season and then one half season, which was so glorious. And people were calling him like one of our best players ever from a half season. Are you forgetting the full season that happened before that? Like, you guys were all calling for his head. I think Gonçalves, I'm predicting that he will be great. And I think if he is, then that means we're going to have a very successful season. But my plea to RSL fans would just be to be patient with all of our new players coming in. It might not be exactly what you expect and hope for at first. And the adjustment period is just different for everyone. Anyways, I think that about wraps up my season preview for 2025 RSL season. It's a season that I think could be really great. I'm really excited about Champions Cup, which starts very soon. So if you're watching this, be ready for Champions Cup. It's going to be on Wednesday. I'm not sure the exact day, but the Wednesday after this comes out at 4:30 p.m. Utah time. So it's going to be fun. We're playing Herediano, who are from Costa Rica. 2 legs. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I'm hoping we can get past them. If we get past them, then we'll be playing the Galaxy, who are the reigning MLS Cup champs, so that will be no easy task. But it's just a really cool opportunity to be in this since it's been so long, like probably, I think it's been at least 10 years, definitely more than 10 years. So yeah, it's just a really cool opportunity. We'll also be competing in Leagues Cup this year. No Open Cup. The Monarchs will be in Open Cup this year because of schedule congestion, just not everything fit. But yeah, there's a lot of great competitions to look forward to. We've got great new kits this year. I finally got my Peak Utah kit after a whole year after it came out, which is kind of sad, but I finally have it now. I'm really excited about it. And the new one just came out today, the new secondary kit. It looks really incredible. I have a lot of great praise to give to everyone who's been working on those, especially the past few seasons. I mean, the new checkerboard one, this Peak Utah one, the Beehive one, the one before that even was great. So a lot of great stuff coming from RSL PR, and definitely props to them for making great stuff. But yeah, anyways, that wraps up what I've got for you all today. So thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know if you want to see more, and I will see you guys hopefully pretty soon.